You know what time it is. It's time for eyeshadow. So this is going to be, hopefully, the most ruthless I've ever been in a declutter. I've been pretty ruthless in the other ones up to now, but I'm really going to be picky with eyeshadow because I just want to be. I just want to really get rid of the ones that I don't just love. So we're gonna start out with more of my smaller palettes and then we'll do my larger palettes. Let's get into it. First off, I see a bunch right away that I'm definitely gonna declutter. Let's talk about these. You guys, these I wanted to be good so bad. This was the Ulta Beauty collection, the Gilmore Girls collection. They came out with a bunch of products, I guess, end of 2021. And one of the things was these two little eyeshadow palette quads. And these, oh, they're so cute, you guys. But these are terrible. They're not good. The quality is not even kind of good. It's just not good. And I think I tried to declutter these a while ago, but I didn't do it just because I love Gilmore Girls so much. It's my favorite show of all time. And I want these to be good, but they're just not. So sadly, those are gonna go. I am also gonna get rid of this Catrice 5 in a Box palette. The reason I'm getting rid of this, I did not plan to get rid of this one, but I actually went to use this the other day because I put it in my everyday makeup drawer and I thought these shadows were better than they actually are. They were kind of difficult to blend, mainly the mattes is what I'm talking about. I could make it work, but they just fell kind of short for me. And I don't know. I didn't enjoy using it when I did. The two shimmers are pretty, but I have these two shimmers and a lot of other palettes. So I'm going to declutter. I think I am also going to declutter this little ColourPop Bambi palette. I bought this mainly, honestly, because it's cute. And it is super cute, but the shadow quality in here is not great either. Typically I like ColourPop palettes, but this one isn't great. It's just not something I'm gonna pull out and use. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. I also think I'm gonna declutter this Natasha Denona Mini Glam, not because I don't like it. This is a beautiful little mini palette, but I have the full-size Glam and I'm definitely going to keep that one, spoiler alert. So I feel like I just don't need this little mini. If I'm going to keep that big Glam palette, I don't need both. So I am going to declutter this. I'll probably resell it because this honestly hasn't been used a ton. I don't know. We'll see. I may put it on my Poshmark, but I do think I'm going to go ahead and declutter. This little mini retro palette is really unique from Natasha Denona. I don't have these colors in a ton of my palettes. I love these 5 colors together. I think it's really unique and pretty. And these just blend like a dream. The glitters are so pretty. So this one is gonna stay. All right, then I have these mini e.l.f. palettes. I have the I Love You a Latte, Pumpkin Pie, Cream and Sugar, and Rose Water. Right away, I am gonna get rid of Pumpkin Pie, mainly because I can't do my eyes just with this palette. There's not a good like transition shade in here. This shade's a little too dark. I wouldn't use a shimmer, and obviously I wouldn't use the dark brown. And I have these shades in other palettes. I'm just not super attached to this one. So I'm gonna declutter. All right, then I have these 3. I have this one, which is my newest little baby. This I really like. It's just 4 really good matte shades from e.l.f. I can do my whole eyeshadow look with this really easily, and I love the colors. I love the all matte, so that one is going to stay. Then I have Cream and Sugar, which looks like this. So you get 2 shimmers, a dark brown, and this like creamy color. I really like this. I also really like Rose Water. This one is the more lavender one. I just don't know if I need to keep these, you guys. I like them. I just don't know if I'm going to pull these out and use them out of all of my eyeshadow that I have. So these I'm gonna put in the maybes. And then lastly, this one is hard. This is the Naked 2 Basics from Urban Decay. This is probably one of my oldest palettes, and I love this little palette, but I don't reach for it as much as I used to, mainly because it's all cool tone shades, and I like cool tones, but I don't typically go all cool tone on my eyes. That's just not usually what I go for, but I do love this little palette. It's a great one. I feel unsure about that one, so I'm gonna do maybe. Moving on, I have some more of my mini palettes. One I am definitely going to declutter is sadly this one from Bare Minerals. This was their new Mineralist eyeshadow palettes. These came in a bunch of colors. I love the colors in here, but these shadows are just not, they're just not easy to work with. They're all, other than this cream color, they're all pretty metallic, I would say. And I don't know, I just don't love how they look. I just feel like this isn't great. I'm not going to use it. I don't really enjoy it when I do. So I am going to declutter. Then I have this Bare Minerals Gin Nude Neutral eyeshadow palette. So this was their original palette. This one, let's see, I guess it was just the neutral palette. This, in my opinion, the formula on these is much better than the newer one. I wish they would bring these back because I really enjoy this palette. These are just easier to work with. I love this color story, and they had a bunch of other really pretty ones too. I don't think you can get this. I feel like I might have seen it on Amazon, but buying makeup on Amazon is always kind of iffy. But this one is good. I hate to keep it because you can't get it, but I like it. So I do want to keep it. Okay, you guys, I am also going to declutter this little palette. This is the Too Faced Christmas Coffee palette. You guys, I bought this purely because the packaging was so cute. That was not the smartest thing I've ever done. I mean, the colors are pretty, but I don't know. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, do I want to keep this? It's so stinking cute. And I don't have a mini tin palette like this from Too Faced. So now I'm questioning it, but it's like, if I keep it, am I again keeping it because it's so freaking cute? I don't know. I was gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and declutter that one, but I'm gonna put this in the maybes for now. Then I have this little mini quad from Aether Beauty. I'm also gonna declutter this. I love the colors in this. It's kind of similar to that Bare Minerals palette. This formula is okay, but it's not, again, it's just not my favorite. And it's kind of hard to work with this palette because to me these shades apply the best with your fingers, but these are all shimmers or metallic shimmers, so this is not typically a shade I would use my finger if I'm just putting it on my lid, but like I'm not going to put this dark brown all over my lid. Probably not going to put these two all over my lid either. So I would have to try to use a brush, and you don't get much color payoff with these with a brush, in my opinion. So I am going to declutter. Okay, here's one I am going to keep. This is the Flower Beauty Shadow Quad in, it's In Bloom. They're the Petal Play Shadow Quads, but this one is the color In Bloom. This I'm going to keep. This, you do get a good bit of fallout, but I don't even care because these shadows are so pretty. I mean, look at, I don't know if you're going to be able to even tell on camera, but these shades are so reflective and pretty. I love all four of them. And these are really great as like topper shades, or even if you just want to put like one shimmer on your eye. This is really pretty. I love this little quad, so that I do want to keep. Then I have, let's see, this Clinique All About Shadow quad in the shade Teddy Bear. So I just got this from my Clinique video, and okay, I actually love this. These shadows worked really well. Now I'm bringing this little e.l.f. palette back. These are almost identical. Like, do I need both of these? Probably not. I don't know. I'm still gonna keep the e.l.f. in the maybe. This I really enjoyed. It's nothing earth-shattering, obviously, but it's really good neutral shades that I use every day. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep. And then I have two of the Give palettes from Gwen Stefani. So I have this one. This was Simple Kind of Life. So you get 4 kind of basic, cooler toned matte shades. Oh, I still have glitter. So what I'll say about this palette is these colors are very, very muted. So if you love like an intense eyeshadow look, these are not going to be the shadows for you because they are a little bit powdery, but they blend well. They're just more on the subtle side. So I have this one, and then I also have Just a Girl. And this one has 2 mattes and 2 shimmers. So I'll swatch these for you. And again, really, really pretty. I like this color story a lot. It's more of like a kind of a rose gold, but will I pull these out and use them? I'm gonna say maybe on these for now. Then I have some smaller Charlotte Tilbury palettes. These are gonna be kind of tough because I told you guys I'm trying to be ruthless here. Okay, one I am gonna keep for sure is this quad in Celestial Pearl. This is one of her more recent ones that came out. You just get 4 really beautiful shimmers. You get this like kind of greeny gold. You get more of like an icy silver topper. You get kind of a lavender and then more of a bronze. These are so pretty. I love this one, so that is a keep. Then I have Classic Pillow Talk. This is an obvious keep, although I do think my quad is starting to dry out a little bit, sadly. But this is a classic. I feel like if you're a Charlotte Tilbury person, you probably own this quad. So pretty. Definite keep. Okay, then we have this one. This is Exagger Eyes. So this one was really popular a few years ago when Charlotte Tilbury did the makeup for the Victoria's Secret fashion show. She used this quad on all the models, and this is one I like, but I don't love this one. And the colors are pretty. It's just not really a color story I use much. I don't know. I don't feel super attached to this one. This is also very old. I'm not sure how old, but it is definitely old. Even the shades don't swatch as well as I feel like they used to. It kills me to get rid of Charlotte Tilbury though. It really does, but I think that one's gonna go. Ugh. And then my last one is the Desert Haze palette. So this one came out, I guess it was like 2 years ago maybe, when her airbrush bronzer came out. This was like the collection that came out with it. This one I am gonna keep. These are really good matte shades. Like, I don't know if you can see, but really good for really creamy, buttery mattes. So that one is gonna stay. Okay, then I have 2 of the 6-pan palettes. I have this one, which is the Easy Smoky Eye palette. It's a bunch of warm, kind of rosy colors. This one is pretty. I haven't used this lately. There's still swatch really well. But this color story, it's a little too, I don't know, it's a little too warm for me. I wish like one of these reddish mattes were more of like a neutral kind of brown or something. I just feel like this is a bit too warm for me, and I feel like I'm not using this. So that one I do think I'm going to declutter. And then I also have the Super Nudes Easy Eye Palette. So this one I'm going to keep. This one, you get a really good mix of shades. You get a lighter brown, a medium brown, a really dark brown, then you get some cooler tones. You get this black. This is just a really good all-around neutral palette. So that one is going to stay. Then I have two of these Sephora I Love palettes. So I have, let's see, medium cool. So I think there were like 6 or 7 of these, but now they don't look like this anymore. They're more, I think they changed the packaging and the colors are also different. I used to use these all the time. I also have light warm. These were pretty good. I want to say they were like $14 maybe. But they're old. You can't get them anymore. I haven't been reaching for them really at all. Yeah, I'm going to declutter. And then we have the Naked 3 Mini from Urban Decay. So this is not brand new, but it's a pretty new palette. I know this palette kind of got mixed reviews, but I like this palette. I like the purples. I like that it's half shimmer and half matte shades. This one I like and I do want to keep. Next, we have some more mini palettes. So we have these 2 Dior BACKSTAGE palettes. These are really beautiful. This one is warm neutrals. I feel like a lot of my shadows are like kind of dried out now that I'm swatching them, which is kind of sad. But I do really like this color story. These have the primer on the inside, which is really nice, and I just love Dior, so that is going to be a keep. And I'm also going to keep the cool neutrals. So this is the same little palette, just with cooler colors, more purpley tones. Keep. Okay, then I have this Everyday Faves eyeshadow palette from Ulta. This I definitely want to keep. This is not super new to me, but it's pretty new. And this palette really surprised me. It's only like, I think it's like 20 bucks at Ulta. You can usually get it cheaper than that because there's usually some kind of sale on Ulta makeup. But these shades are so pretty. They're easy to blend. You get a good mix of cools and warm shades in here, and I really like this. You get a mirror. This is a very underrated palette to me. So that one I do want to keep. Then I have this Nabla Cutie palette. This is the Cutie Nude palette. So it's like 6 shimmery shades. And this I've had for a little while. And I feel like I don't use this to its fullest potential. Like, this is a really beautiful palette. Like, look at these colors. I really like this. I need to use this more. It's the only Nabla palette that I have. That one I am going to keep. Then, okay, this is the Huda Beauty Nude Light Little Baby palette. I like the colors in here, but gosh, like, I don't know if I'm gonna keep this, but then I swatched these tones and they're really pretty. I just don't, if I use a Huda Beauty palette, I usually use the Mercury Retrograde palette. Ugh, okay, I feel unsure about that. I'm gonna put that in the maybes. And then last are these 2 little Makeup by Mario palettes. The first one is this little quad. This was the Everyday Nudes quads that came out a little while ago. This was nude number 2, yeah. Nude number 2, so you get 2 mattes, two shimmers in here, and these are definitely my tones, the warm kind of golden colors. Really, really beautiful. Honestly, kind of forgot about this little palette, so I do want to keep that one. And then the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. So this is just a palette full of matte shades. It's just a really nice thing to have. It's nice to pair with any of my all shimmer palettes. Since these are all mattes, you literally get every tone you would need in here. Light, medium, transition shades, a dark brown, a black. You get everything in here. So that one I do want to keep. Next, an obvious keep is the Nars Summer Unrated palette. This is very new. This came out this summer, and I love this palette. This is my only Nars palette, but I absolutely love every color in here. They blend amazingly well. I mean, I feel like you get every color you could really need in here. You get darker shades for something, you know, smokier or more deep, and then you get really light, pretty, shimmery shades too. You get a good assortment of mattes in here. I just feel like you really can't go wrong with this palette. I love this one. Hopefully this is still available. I know NARS normally does limited edition palettes, but I think hopefully you can still get this one. But this is definite keep. Also a definite keep is my Persona Identity palette. This is a really great neutral palette. Get, again, a good mix of shimmer and matte shades in here. I mean, look at these metallic shimmers. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I love this palette. I love the purples, the kind of taupier, cooler tones. You get a good dark brown. Definite keep. Then I have the ColourPop Wild Nothing palette. I love this little palette. I definitely want to keep this one. This is like one of my favorite spring palettes. I don't have too many ColourPop palettes, but this is one that I've loved for a while, really since this came out. I love all the colors in here. It's a very like springy palette. I just love it. So this one I definitely want to keep. Then I have 4 Tom Ford eyeshadow quads. Okay, these are going to be difficult. So the first is, let's see, which one is this? Okay, this is my newest one, Suspicion. This one has never been used. So this is obviously just a quad of neutrals. You get 2 kind of golden shades, a brown, and then more of a champagne color. I got this from the cosmetics company store for a really good price. I think I paid like $20 for this. Maybe a little bit more, I can't remember. I haven't used it though. I kind of want to compare this one to another one that I have. Let me find it. Or actually really kind of want to compare it to 2 of them that I have. So this is, which one is this? The First Frost Eye Quad. This one was limited edition, I think. But the color stories, well, I was going to say they're kind of similar, but I guess they're not. This one is more cool tone. This one is a lot warmer. So that one is not really similar. And then the last one is Nude Dip. This one's my favorite one, I think. So Nude Dip is much cooler, as you can see. I love this quad. Something about these 4 shadows. I got this from the cosmetics company store too, and that would be like my main tip with Tom Ford. Before you pay full price for one, see if you can go to a cosmetics company store, call them on the phone. You can actually order, I'm pretty sure, over the phone with them. Usually you can get these for at least half the price if you can find the one you want there, so just FYI. Nude Dip was my first one, and I literally got this for like $12, you guys, at the cosmetics company store. I don't know how. Somehow this one ended up on like the 75 or 80% off table. I don't know, but I paid hardly nothing for this. So that one is not going anywhere. Then we have First Frost. This one I've used, but I haven't. I'm trying to make it so you can see if I swatch them. That's it there. Definitely a cooler color story. I don't know. I just feel like this kind of reminds me of Nude Dip, and I like Nude Dip more. So I think I am going to get rid of this one, you guys. It makes me sad, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this is too similar to Nude Dip. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter that one. Suspicion. I hate to swatch it, but I feel like I kind of need to. I don't know. Let me hold on that one. And then my other one is, okay, this one is, I really love. This is Honeymoon. So this one is more purpley, obviously, but you get like a taupe, a light gold, kind of a wine color, and a dark purple. But I love this palette. This is one that I sadly paid full price for, and then literally the next time I went to the cosmetics company store, they had it and it was like 50% off. So don't make that mistake. Don't make the one that I made. But this is that color story. I just love these colors. That one I definitely want to keep. All right, I am gonna go ahead and swatch this one. I have a feeling I want to keep this one because I feel like now the three that I have are pretty different. This one is a warmer quad, then I have more of the purpley one, and then I have more of the cool toned one. Yeah, I'm gonna keep Suspicion. Last is Maybelline Nudes of New York. Okay, this is a really good drugstore palette. It's really hard to show these. So you get really, this is a good neutral drugstore palette. I mean, I feel like this is one of the best that I've tried other than like ColourPop. Especially the shimmers. The mattes are pretty good too though. I mean, this is a good one from the drugstore. I am going to put this in the maybes because I have another drugstore palette that's kind of similar to this and I kind of want to compare them. I feel like I don't need both, so this is going in the maybes for now, but it is very good. All right, more smaller palettes. So I have 3 from ColourPop. I have Going Coconuts. This is an obvious keep. This is my favorite ColourPop palette. One of my favorite shades in my whole eyeshadow collection is this Cocoa Crush shade. It's like a pinky shimmer. Love it. I love the mattes in here. This is just a good palette. I love, love, love this. Mine is kind of messed up. It doesn't really close anymore, but I love it. So that one is going to stay. Okay, then I have Nude Tude, which looks like this. See, I was gonna say I can probably declutter this one, but this one is a little more warm than the Going Coconuts. Yeah, no, that one's gonna stay. I like that. And then I also have That's Taupe. This one is definitely gonna stay. This is so pretty. Definitely more cool toned. I'm making a mess. Definitely more cool toned, but love all the colors in here too. So that one is staying. Okay, then I have Gimme Gold from Flower Beauty, the Profusions Nude palette, and then the Always Naked palette from Wet n Wild. So I feel like these are all very similar to the Nudes of New York. So that's kind of what I meant earlier. I feel like I don't need all of these. I just have to figure out which ones I'm going to keep. So this is Wet n Wild Always Naked. This is pretty new to me. I did use it in a video and I was pretty impressed with this. I've tried Wet n Wild shadows in the past and I wasn't like wowed by them, but this one was pretty good. I'll just kind of swatch a few of the shades. I know these aren't great swatches, but it's because I have so much stuff all over my hands. I just really like the color story in here too. So there's that one. I'm thinking that one's going to be a keep. The only thing in here that I probably would never use is this glitter, because it's just like straight up pieces of glitter. Yeah, that's like nothing when you swatch it. So I probably would not use that. Then this is a really good palette also, this Flower Beauty palette. This is more shimmers though. It's not a ton of mattes. Most of them are like these frosted shimmers. You do get this one pretty good transition shade right here. And you also get a brush, which is nice. I gotta decide. I just feel like I don't need all of these. And then I also have this Profusion Nudes palette. Let me swatch a few of these. This is pretty new to me also. I'm trying to think about these things from the point of view that because I have so many, I have to think about the ones I'm actually going to use. Not that all of these are bad that I'm getting rid of, but it's like, I mean, these 4 are very similar. I just feel like I don't need all of them. Okay, let me think about this for a second. Okay, you guys, I'm struggling. I've been sitting here staring at these and I'm like no closer to deciding. The only thing I think I've decided is I am going to declutter this Wet n Wild one. I feel like this one is kind of, some of them are really good and then others are not. Like this shimmer, this glittery shade isn't, I mean, it's nothing but just like piecey pieces of glitter. Then this like white kind of bluish color, I'm not going to use. This shimmer right here, I feel like I used this in my video. I'm not getting a whole lot of color from that, but then like this one is pretty good. I don't know. I just feel like I'm not going to reach for it. So that one I am going to declutter. I'm going to keep Maybelline in the maybes. I feel like I'm going to declutter Profusion. I think the mattes in the Profusion palette are pretty good. I feel like these shimmers are kind of like chunky. I don't know. I don't like the formula on these shimmers. I feel like the colors are pretty, but I just don't love the formula on those. So I'm going to declutter. Flower is going to go in the maybes. And then I have this little Essence Dancing Greens palette. This I like, but I actually have a newer palette that I'm wondering might be able to replace this, but these are pretty good. I'm going to put this in maybe 2 and we'll compare it to my other green palette in a minute. Moving on with eyeshadow palettes, I am going to be keeping this one. This is from BK Beauty. It's the True Beauty palette. This is obviously from BK Beauty, the brand, which I love. I use tons of their brushes. I also love Lisa J here on YouTube. It is her brand, and this is their eyeshadow palette. It's a great neutral, everyday palette. I really enjoy this when I use it, and I definitely want to keep it. Some really pretty, more like frosty shimmers in here, and you get some pretty purples, especially this purple Kate shade I really like. Definitely want to keep that one. Then I have this palette from What's Up Beauty. So they sent this to me, I guess, earlier in the year, and this is a beautiful palette. My question with it is, am I gonna pull this out and use it? It is really beautiful. I mean, like, I know for a fact I'm probably not gonna use this shade, which is Downpour, but some of these other shimmers are really beautiful, like Humidity. It's really pretty, kind of a light pinky purple. Then we also have Succulent, which is this deeper purple shimmer. And then the mattes in here are really beautiful too. Very smooth and buttery. So I feel torn about this because I don't know. I'm trying to ask myself the question, am I excited about this palette? It's gonna be a maybe. Then we have this KKW eyeshadow, and this was the classic eyeshadow palette, so you can't even get KKW makeup anymore. And this formula is pretty good, but it's not a palette that I just love. I mean, there are some shades in here that I do enjoy, but like these red colors, I'm not gonna use. Even this like peachy color, it's okay, but I just don't know if I'm gonna pull this out and use it, especially since you can't buy it anymore. And I just don't love it. I don't love it anyway, so that one I am gonna go ahead and declutter. And then I have this palette from Aether Beauty. It's the Summer Solstice palette. I've had this for quite a while. I like this okay, but again, it's not one that I get really, really excited about. The colors are pretty. It has lots of neutrals, but a little bit of something to them, a little more color. But I don't know. I'm trying to say to myself, are you excited about this palette? And the answer is no. So that one is gonna go. Then I have two more ColourPop palettes. I have this one, which is Off Melrose. Looks like this. This was actually a gift. So I didn't buy this, and this is a pretty color story, but I'm not obsessed with it. I don't like this as much as I like the other 9-pan palettes that I'm keeping, or the Wild Nothing palette. I like that one more than this. So I am gonna declutter. And then this is the Disney designer collection, one of the Disney palettes from ColourPop. This one is still in the box because this has not been used. Let me open it up. This was also a gift. So this is what it looks like. It's really cute. And this is pretty color story, but again, I just don't think I'm going to use that. I mean, it's pretty. I do like Disney. So part of me kind of wants to keep it, but I just know I'm not going to reach for this. So I'm going to put this on my Poshmark. All right, that was pretty much it for my smaller palettes. I might have a few more mixed in here, but mainly we're moving on to my larger palettes now. So let's get into it. I'm just gonna pull these over one at a time because there's not really enough space right here for me to put them so you can see. So I'm just gonna go one by one. First is the Tartelette in Bloom. This could probably have gone with the smaller palettes, but I have all my Tarte palettes together. So Tartelette in Bloom, this is a definite keep. This is always one of my favorite palettes. I have traveled with this. I just feel like you can't go wrong with this little palette. It isn't like the most updated eyeshadow formula at this point. It is kind of on the old side, but I really enjoy it. My favorite color is Funny Girl down here, and I really love this little palette. So that one is going to stay. Then I have this. So this is the Tartelette Juicy palette, but this is the larger one. So I never really figured out what happened with this palette because this came out and then like a month or two later, this one went away and they came out with a smaller version. So I'm not really sure what that was about. And this palette is pretty. I honestly have not used it a whole lot. I mean, these shimmers are pretty, but I do know this formula, I don't know, some of them are pretty good, I guess. I guess what I'm thinking is, am I gonna pull this out and use it, or am I gonna pull out the Tartelette in Bloom or the Aspen Ovard palette, you know, because I feel like the tones are kind of similar. And then I also have the Tartelette Full Bloom, which I'll show you in a minute. Let me just bring it out here and put them next to each other. Yeah, so you get, uh-oh, that one's about to fall out. You get similar tones, but you get more variety in here. You do get the pinks, but you also get some purples over here. You get a bunch of neutrals. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep Full Bloom and I'm going to declutter Juicy. Next is my only Morphe palette. This is the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette. I'm not typically a huge Morphe eyeshadow fan. I don't think their shadows are bad. I just think they're okay, I guess is what I would say. Their shimmers are nothing to write home about. They're more of like I would call it like a frosted shimmer almost. But I do enjoy this color story. I really love these tones, these neutrals. I'm gonna say no. I feel like I'm not gonna use that. I told you, I'm gonna be ruthless with this eyeshadow. I know if I'm not using it, there's a reason I'm not. Okay, then we have e.l.f., the new Classics palette. This is a great eyeshadow palette. Every time I have used this, I'm always surprised by how good it is for the price. I think this retails for like, I don't know, $14 or something. And this is beautiful. I love the variety of color in here. You get a good range of warmer and cooler shades. I feel excited about this palette. I know it's just an e.l.f. palette, but I mean, this is really good. And this color story is very unique. That one I do want to keep. And then we have Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. So I did declutter earlier the nude light palette, and I was saying that typically when I use the Huda palettes, I go for this one. I just love this. I love this color story. You get this bit of color in here, but it's not, I don't know. I like this. Now that I look at this, this looks kind of like that What's Up Beauty shade that I was unsure about. This Downpour shade. This one's a little more blue, but I like this palette more. So I'm going to keep this and declutter What's Up Beauty. This palette I love. It's my only Huda palette now, but I really enjoy it. Next is my Sigma palettes. The first is the Enchanted palette. I wanted this palette for a very long time. I finally got it, and it did not disappoint me. I love this palette. This is so unique, and something about this color story I just love. I love the mix of greens and the purples. You get some deeper mattes in here. I just love this. This is one that makes me excited every time I open it. So that one is not going anywhere. I also have the Cinderella palette, also not going anywhere. I adore this palette. I literally adore all three of my Sigma palettes, so spoiler, these are not going anywhere. I also love Cinderella, but that's not the reason I'm keeping it. But this is colorful, but it's wearable color. This is not intimidating color to me. 10 out of 10 love and recommend this one. So that one is going to stay. And my last one is the Ambiance. So this is a very warm neutral palette. Obviously, I love neutrals, and I really enjoy this one. All the shimmers in here are beautiful. I just love this. This is warm, but it's not like an orangey warm, which I appreciate. I'm not a huge orangey person, but these are warm without being too warm. So that one is also going to stay. All right, we are on to Natasha Denona now. A few of these might surprise you, just warning. Okay, Natasha Denona Glam palette. This I love, adore. I love every shade in here. I would definitely never declutter this. I think this is such a stunning palette. I do think this is mostly cool tones, but I love that you get this warmer transition and this gold. You can definitely get a warmer look from this, which I really appreciate. I like that you can get warm or cool tones with this. This is just stunning. Just stunning. I absolutely adore this, and we'll keep it. Next is the bronze palette. Okay, you guys, you may think I'm crazy, but I'm gonna declutter this. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. This palette I bought back when I was first really getting into YouTube, right when it came out, it was like one of those things that I bought immediately, mainly to review it, honestly. And it is a beautiful palette. If you love these warm, orangey, kind of terracotta type colors, you would probably absolutely love this. But there are so many shades in here that I'm just not drawn to. In fact, most of the shades in here I'm not drawn to. I do love this silk shade and this bronze and this, you know, this neutral brown down here, but like these red tones, I'm not going to use. These two darker like navy tones, I'm not really going to use. And then these bronze shimmers all kind of look very similar. Then you have these two mattes here, but again, they're very, very warm. I love Natasha Denona, but I do not see myself using this palette, so that one is gonna go, and I will be putting that on my Poshmark. Then we have the Retro palette. Is this my newest Natasha Denona palette? I guess it is. Okay, this one I feel torn about. This palette is beautiful. I guess my thing with this is you're gonna get a very purple look with this. I remember when I did a video on it, I tried to use these like pinky corally tones, like this go-go color. I remember each of the looks I did, there wasn't a whole lot of differentiation between the two, or between the looks. Most of the looks look the same, which is not bad if you love purples, which I do, but I feel like I'm not, I don't know, I don't feel excited about this. I hate to say that, but it's beautiful. I don't feel excited. I don't feel excited about this one or the bronze one like I do the Glam one. Sadly, that one is also gonna go on Poshmark. Next are, you already know, the two larger Natasha palettes. Okay, these, I still have the boxes for these, okay? If that tells you anything. This is the gold palette. This, backstory on this, they discontinued it. You probably know that. Right before they discontinued it, they restocked it one last time on Sephora. And of course, I'm constantly on Sephora. I'm constantly watching YouTube. I saw that they were restocking it and I had to have this one. So with this, I still get the gold tones or the gold shimmers that I do like from the bronze palette, but then I get tons of neutrals and I get this teal over here, this beautiful like blue-green teal. I used this palette in the video I did where I recreated a Hailey Bieber makeup look. I will try to remember to link that above for you. I actually loved the way that makeup turned out. That's one of my favorite looks I've ever done. And I used this palette. This needs to get more love from me. It's just so beautiful. It's one that honestly I just like to know that it's pretty new and unused, but that's silly. So I need to use this more, but obviously I am not getting rid of that one. And finally, the Biba palette from Natasha Denona. This one I've had for quite a while. I don't know why I still have this in the box. I don't know. This is a definite keep. Now this one I've used quite a bit. I've used this in a bunch of different videos. I love this, kind of similar to some of the other palettes I've said. I like palettes that have warm and cool shades in them, and that's exactly how I feel about this. You get all of these deeper, kind of cooler shades. You get this light gray. You get this row of warmer colors. You get a really good mix of shimmers in here. I adore this palette. So that one is also a keep. Next, I have the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. This is definitely staying. I love these tones. These are my perfect warm tones. I like this so much more than like the bronze palette because this is much more of a yellowy color story, a yellow gold, more so than an orangey color story. So beautiful. You get a good mix of shimmers and mattes in here. I love this one. That one is not going anywhere. Okay, the next ones may shock you. Okay. I have 3 Anastasia palettes. Modern Renaissance. You guys, this is a beautiful palette. I know this is classic. A lot of people love this, but this does not excite me. I think it's good, but I have so many palettes that I love and want to use so much more than this. That's gonna go. It's gonna go. Soft Glam. Again, very beautiful, but I like my Sigma Ambiance more than this. I like my Naked Honey more than this. I just don't think I need this. I just don't think I do. I do like the mattes in here, like this dark brown and this black, but I get those in my Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. The rest of these are shimmers that are not anything that I just can't live without, so that's gonna go. Last, we have Sultry. If you watch my other declutters, you may remember I considered decluttering this the last time I decluttered my palettes. I can't tell you what it is about this palette, but I never find myself wanting to use it, and I don't know why. You get everything you need in here. It's a beautiful, cooler toned palette. I feel like I don't want this. I feel like if I keep this, it's just gonna sit and I'm never gonna use it. That one is also gonna go. I know. Do I even need to say anything? Probably not. Patrick Ta Major Dimension and the new rosy one. I mean, just looking at these just like makes me smile. That's how much I love them. I adore these. These are not going anywhere. I love them both. My all-time favorite is the Major Dimension, the original, just because these tones are a little bit better for every day, but I do love the rosy one as well. Those are like prized possessions to me. So those are not going anywhere. Too Faced, the Natural Nudes palette. I really like this. I feel like no one talks about this anymore, but this is my favorite Too Faced palette they've ever released, to be honest. I love all the colors in here. I love all of them. I love this color story. I always light my makeup when I use this, and I like it. That one is going to stay. Also from Too Faced, the Pumpkin Spice palette. So I did a whole video on this, but I did not buy this when it released, and then I had major FOMO. I don't know why I didn't just buy it the first time, because I knew I wanted it, but I then bought it on Poshmark, and I do love this palette. Now this does have, I would say, at least one shade that I won't use, this You're Spicy color. This, like, what is this? Like a pinky, like a magenta color. That I would not use, but all the rest of these I definitely will use, and I like this color story. This is very different to me. It doesn't look like all the other Too Faced palettes, in my opinion. I really love this a la mode shade. Or no, Sweetie Pie. Sweetie Pie, this like kind of olivey green. I really like this. That one is not going anywhere. And last but not least, Charlotte Tilbury. These are all of my large Charlotte Tilbury palettes. This is gonna be difficult. Okay, so this I believe is the newest one. This was the most recent holiday palette. This was the Instant Eye palette. Smoky eyes are forever. So this is what it looks like. This was, I believe this is from 2019. Starry Eyes to Hypnotize, I think was from 2019. I could be wrong. I think that's right though. So these are, I guess you could say, somewhat similar. maybe in like these green tones. Both palettes have that. Both palettes have like this shimmery pink, this like deeper kind of a rosy shade, more of an orangey shade, real neutral. I mean, honestly, this is, gosh, this is gonna be hard, you guys. Of the two, I feel like this one, the more recent one, is a little more along something I would use because you get the black, you get the dark brown, you get these shimmery pinks, you get the greens, which I love. The greens are really beautiful in this palette. You do get these warmer shades. They are warm, but they're not orange, which I like. With this palette, you get these blues down here, and these, I can tell you right now, I don't know that I've ever even dipped my finger in here. Yeah, I mean, and then I think this is actually a navy. Yeah, like a dark navy blue. I'm never gonna use those. These more neutrals are a bit different. They're more of these light, like white, pinky shades in this palette. They're definitely more warm neutrals over here. But I feel like I want the Starry Eyes Smoky Eye, and I can get rid of Eyes to Hypnotize. I love this, but of the two, I like this one a little bit more. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna declutter Starry Eyes to Hypnotize, and then the last one is the large Pillow Talk palette. I kind of feel the same way about this one. I wish it did not have these pinks right here. Like, I wish they had replaced this with something else, like, I don't know, dark brown, dark black, kind of like they have in the Smoky Eye palette. Something more usable, because like I'm never gonna use that pink shade. I'm not gonna use that. Probably not gonna use this. These mattes are beautiful, but I have beautiful mattes in other palettes, you know? This one is painful because it's Pillow Talk, and I love Pillow Talk, but I feel like I need to declutter this. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but I feel like that one can be decluttered. And that is all of my eyeshadow palettes, you guys. So all that's left is to pull out the maybes, which unfortunately we have quite a few of them. So let me get those and we can decide about them. First three. Now that I've seen the rest of my palettes, I feel like I am gonna declutter the Nude Light palette. This is pretty, but what I like most about this are these two, mainly this shimmery purple, and I have a very pretty shimmery purple in the Huda Mercury Retrograde, the Tarte Full Bloom, and let's see, do I have any other purples? Oh, I have a really pretty purple in the BK Beauty palette. Also, I also have the little Dior Cool Neutrals that is mostly purples. So I feel like I can declutter that one. These were the ones I was trying to decide between all the neutral palettes. I went ahead and decluttered the Wet n Wild and the Profusion because all four of these kind of look alike. So I'm left with these two. If I keep one, I'm not keeping both. I might keep one. I feel like there's definitely more variety in the Nudes of New York because you get the purple here. Here you get a lot of, honestly, a few of the shades look very similar in this palette. Like, I don't even know the difference really between these two shades. There's a dark brown. That also looks like a dark brown, but just a slightly different tone. Yeah, I'm gonna declutter Flower palette. And I think I'm gonna keep Nudes of New York. This little Too Faced palette. Ugh, this one is so hard, you guys, because the packaging on this does make me excited. But like, am I gonna use these colors? No, probably not. I mean, realistically, I might use this one, and this one, and maybe this one. Maybe the brown. Probably not gonna reach for these too much, or this one. This little palette is new too, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. Ugh. Then I have two Give palettes and the Dancing Greens palette. Okay, I didn't show you, I have a new palette. I didn't show it to you because I haven't even used it yet. I'll show you now. I finally bought this palette, you guys, the Wild Greens. I feel like this kind of got mixed reviews. I feel like people either really like this or did not like it at all. So I have this now, and I have not used it, so I don't know about it yet, but I do love the colors in here. So that's making me think that I don't need this little Essence palette. It's good, but I just feel like I don't need both, you know? And I'm more excited to use this than I am this. So I'm gonna go ahead and declutter. This is gonna be coming soon in a video, FYI. So that is staying, obviously. Then I have my two Give palettes. I have Just a Girl, and I have Simple Kind of Life. Okay, I'm gonna keep Simple Kind of Life. You may think I'm crazy, but I actually love that these are 4 really simple, matte, neutral colors. A bit cool down here, and then this is a little more warm. I have really enjoyed this when I use it, so I'm gonna keep that. And then, okay, this one, I love this color, this like nudie, I don't know what you'd call it, like a pinky nude almost. I love this shimmer. I don't love this one. It doesn't, I mean, it's okay. It's definitely more of a rose gold. It's not anything to like write home about. I feel like I can declutter that one. And the last group, Naked 2. Okay, this one is really painful, you guys. Don't hate me. I think I'm gonna declutter this, not because this is a bad palette. I think this is a great palette if you love these cooler tones. This palette is special to me because my first YouTube, actually the video I have on my channel with the most views is the video I did with this palette like 2.5 years ago. And that makes me want to keep it, but at the same time, I just don't use these tones really. Yeah, it's gonna declutter, you guys. But if you have this palette, this is a great palette. It performs well. The colors are pretty. It's just not really what I go for, especially now. That one I am gonna declutter. And lastly, we have 2 bite-sized palettes. We have Rose Water and Cream and Sugar. Let me actually pull out the e.l.f. New Classics palette just to kind of see. Kind of want to see what is in here. I mean, I feel like this Rose Water could be kind of similar to this down here. I mean, this color is a bit warmer. Yeah, I feel like 3 of these could go with these 3. And then Cream and Sugar. Cream and Sugar is different. There's not really this kind of golden shimmer in this palette. So I'm gonna say keep Cream and Sugar. Again, I have purples in other palettes though that I'm keeping and I love, you know? So I think I'm gonna declutter. Yeah, I think I'm gonna declutter. Okay, you guys. That is it. Let me count these up and I'll give you the numbers. All right, you guys, I made a few more cuts. I decided to get rid of Nude Mood from ColourPop, mainly because this is similar to Going Coconuts, and I like Going Coconuts better. I just feel like I don't need this one. So that one I am gonna declutter. I'm also gonna declutter the Naked 3 Mini from Urban Decay, because when I was looking at these shades, I realized the shades in this palette really remind me of this palette, and I like this palette more. This is the Ulta Everyday Faves. You get more variety in here. So I'm gonna get that, or keep that one, get rid of that one. Nabla Cutie, I was gonna keep this because these are pretty toppers, but really the only 2 I just love are these 2 in the middle. I don't love the 4 on the outside. And I have some toppers in other palettes that are similar that I also love. So I feel like that's kind of a waste to keep that. So that one is gonna go. I'm also going to let go of this Flower Beauty quad. It's beautiful. The only reason I'm letting this go is because I feel like I have similar things already. These do have a lot of fallout, and I have something new coming, hint hint, that will probably replace these anyway. So that one I'm going to declutter. Also going to declutter this Makeup by Mario little quad. No particular reason, just not, I'm not feeling drawn to this. And I have these colors in other palettes, so that one's going to go. And then I also did decide to get rid of Nudes of New York. I feel like I keep going back and forth with this, and I feel like that's my answer. I don't want to be going back and forth, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. So believe it or not, we are keeping less than we're getting rid of. We're getting rid of 44 and we're keeping 38. Much, much, much better. Still a lot, but I feel good about that.